Tonight, the second your body finally decides to rest, your brain quietly leaves the room. It walks into tomorrow. Then it comes back carrying every possible disaster. Your eyes are closed, but your mind is wide awake. The room is dark, the house is still, and somehow this is the exact moment your brain decides to review a message from 3 years ago. An unpaid bill that might not exist, a look someone gave you earlier, and the possibility that your entire future is balancing on one tiny mistake. Nothing is happening, but your body acts like something is. Why? Because anxiety is not only fear. Anxiety is fear with a calendar. It is your brain trying to suffer early, just in case suffering early gives you control. Your heart beats faster for an event that has not happened. Your stomach tightens around a future that has not arrived. Your body is lying in bed, but your nervous system is already standing in tomorrow. That is the strange part. You are not reacting to danger. You are reacting to prediction. The psychologist Thomas Borkovich spent decades studying worry, and his work helped reveal something that feels painfully familiar. Worry often pretends to be problem-solving, but much of the time it becomes a verbal loop, a stream of mental language that circles the threat without touching it. Your brain says it is preparing. It says it is being responsible. But what if it is just rehearsing fear in sentences? This is why anxiety at night feels so convincing. There are no distractions left. During the day, your attention has furniture to bump into, messages to answer, tasks to perform, faces to read, noise to process. At night, the world takes all of that away, and your brain fills the empty space with simulations. It opens the future like a file folder. Then, it starts making copies. What if tomorrow goes badly? What if that pain means something serious? What if that person secretly hates you? What if everything is about to fall apart? The ancient brain loved questions like this, not because they felt good, because they kept your ancestors alive. Long before alarm clocks, rent, emails, and social media, your nervous system was shaped in a world where guessing wrong could be fatal. A rustle in the grass might be wind, or it might be a predator. A shadow near the fire might be nothing, or it might be someone from another group. A strange feeling in the body might pass, or it might signal infection. In that world, the brain that imagined danger too often was annoying. The brain that imagined danger too late was dead. So your brain learned to travel forward. It learned to build tiny futures before the real future arrived. Neuroscientists call this prospective thinking, which simply means the ability to imagine what might happen next. It is one of the reasons humans are so powerful. You can pack food before hunger. You can save money before winter. You can apologize before a friendship breaks. You can avoid the cliff because your mind already fell off it for you. But the same gift has a shadow. The same mind that can plan can also haunt itself. The same system that lets you imagine success can build a horror movie out of silence. What happens when a survival tool gets trapped in a modern bedroom at 3 a.m.? Joseph Ledoux, one of the most important researchers on fear, helped show how deeply the brain is wired to detect threat before the thinking mind fully understands what is happening. The amygdala, a small alarm system deep in the brain, can prepare your body for danger with incredible speed. It does not wait for a perfect explanation. It prefers a false alarm to a missed threat. That makes sense in the wild. It feels absurd under a blanket. Your amygdala does not know that the threat is an awkward conversation, a deadline, a social post, or a future version of yourself failing in a place you have not even reached yet. It just receives the signal something might be wrong. Then it pulls the fire alarm. This is why anxiety can feel physical before it feels logical. The chest tightens, the jaw locks, the stomach drops. The mind looks around for a reason, and if it cannot find one in the room, it searches tomorrow. Then the story begins. You are not just thinking about the future, you are entering it. Your brain creates a simulation so vivid that your body starts responding as if the event is already happening. The imagined argument becomes a real pulse. The imagined failure becomes real heat in your face. The imagined embarrassment becomes real pressure in your throat. Your body does not need the future to arrive before it starts paying the cost. Robert Sapolsky, who studied stress in both animals and humans, has pointed out one of the strangest things about human stress. A zebra runs from a lion, then returns to grazing when the danger is gone. But a human can lie safely in bed and activate the same stress chemistry by imagining a meeting, a diagnosis, a rejection, or a bill. The lion does not need to be present. The lion can be scheduled for Thursday. That is anxiety. A calendar lion, a predator made of maybe. And at night, the lion becomes louder because sleep changes the rules. Matthew Walker, known for his research on sleep, has written about how poor sleep and emotional reactivity feed each other. When you are tired, the brain becomes worse at regulating emotion. When you are anxious, sleep becomes harder. Then the cycle tightens. The less rest you get, the more threatening tomorrow feels. The more threatening tomorrow feels, the less rest you get. So the brain tries harder. It opens more tabs. It runs more scenarios. It tells you this is useful because if you can think of every possible problem, maybe none can surprise you. But is that preparation or is it punishment? The answer is complicated. Some future thinking helps. Planning is not the enemy. Remembering an important task, writing it down, making a simple next step, and letting the mind return to the present can protect you. But worry does something different. Worry keeps asking for certainty from a future that cannot answer yet. That is the trap. Anxiety wants a receipt from tomorrow. It wants proof that the conversation will go well, proof that the pain is harmless, proof that the mistake will not matter, proof that the future version of you will be safe. But the future has no receipt printer, so your brain keeps checking an empty counter. The psychologist Daniel Gilbert studied how people imagine future feelings, and his work showed that humans often misread tomorrow. You imagine one outcome and assume it will define you. You imagine failure and assume you will never recover. But the future version of you is usually more flexible than the anxious version of you can imagine. That matters because anxiety time travels badly. It visits the future, but it forgets to bring your resilience. It imagines the problem, but not the support. It imagines the mistake, but not the repair. It imagines the pain, but not the adaptation. It shows you the first scene of disaster and hides every scene where you respond, learn, adjust, ask for help, or survive. So, at 3 a.m., you are not seeing the future. You are seeing a rough draft written by fear. It may contain useful information, but it is not prophecy. It is a prediction made by a tired brain in a dark room. What would change if you treated it that way? You might stop arguing with every thought. You might stop treating every worry like a command. You might notice that the mind can create a disaster without giving you evidence that the disaster is real. A thought can be loud and still be incomplete. A feeling can be intense and still be temporary. A prediction can be frightening and still be wrong. This does not mean you are broken. It means your brain is powerful. It means the same machine that helped humans survive winters, predators, hunger, strangers, storms, and uncertainty is now trying to protect you from meetings, messages, memories, and imaginary versions of tomorrow. It is overbuilt for modern life. It is ancient software running on a glowing screen. And maybe that is why anxiety feels so personal. It uses your voice. It knows your history. It knows exactly which future will scare you most because it builds the future out of old pain. The brain takes what hurt before and projects it forward, hoping that if you see it early enough, you can stop it from happening again. That is not stupidity. That is protection with bad timing. Your brain is not trying to destroy your peace. It is trying to prevent a wound from returning. But protection becomes a cage when it never learns that the door is open. So what do you do with a brain that keeps time traveling? You do not have to hate it. You can notice it. You can say, this is my mind simulating tomorrow. You can say, this is an alarm, not a verdict. You can say, this is a prediction, not a prophecy. The goal is not to erase the future. The goal is to stop living there before you arrive. Because the present is where your body actually is. The bed is here. The blanket is here. The dark room is here. The breath moving in and out of your chest is happening now. Tomorrow may contain tasks, conversations, risks, and decisions. But tomorrow is not in the room yet. Only the movie is. And the movie can pause. You can write the one thing down. You can loosen the jaw. You can unclench the hands. You can let the brain know that the message has been received. But the meeting with tomorrow is not happening at 3 a.m. You can give the ancient alarm a modern answer. Not everything that feels urgent is immediate. This is the quiet truth. Anxiety is often your brain time traveling without permission. It runs ahead, gets frightened, returns with souvenirs, and drops them on your pillow. But you do not have to unpack every one. You do not have to live inside every version of the future your mind creates. Tonight, the second your body finally decides to rest, your brain may still try to leave the room and walk into tomorrow. But now you know what it is doing, and you can gently bring it back.